How's it going, everybody? I am going to go on a rant right now. So I've been working on several theories over the last few years, and I finally got to a point where I feel like they've reached a point of a high enough resolution that I'm willing to and confident enough to discuss them in academic circles. And I've been incredibly disheartened by the way that they've been received by mainstream academia, and it's outlined a fundamental problem with the system that I want to talk about. As I prepare several papers for peer review, I do so incredibly begrudgingly, fully aware of how flawed the system is, while also acknowledging that it remains a necessary step to gain any traction when presenting a new theory. The problem is that entry into this elite academic club is controlled by gatekeepers. They demand submissions to journals for peer review, yet these very journals impose standards that often prevent new ideas from even being considered if they challenge the prevailing opinions of so-called experts. They require credentials from Ivy League schools, degrees, accolades, yet obtaining these degrees requires conforming to the dogma of the core curriculum. And if you question or challenge the foundational ideas, you risk poor grades or failure. Maybe you don't even get your degree, which makes it impossible to earn that degree without accepting the prevailing theories. And in this way, the system effectively filters out independent, original thinkers from the outset. And by the time someone has earned the necessary credentials, they're already indoctrinated into the established paradigm, making them far less likely to question it. The result is that those who hold these degrees are often not the innovators, but are rather the gatekeepers of the existing ideas. At the heart of the issue is the self-reinforcing nature of current academic systems. Peer review, while ostensibly designed to ensure rigor and quality, often functions like a mechanism for preserving the status quo. The reviewers of these journals are usually entrenched in the dominant paradigms that they've built their careers on, established theories like general relativity in physics or mainstream cognitive behavioral frameworks in psychology, and this creates a conflict of interest. Reviewers are unlikely to endorse revolutionary ideas that could undermine foundations of their own research or invalidate decades of other work. Funding and institutional support forms like another layer of that gatekeeping, where research that aligns with well-established theories is more likely to receive grants and financial backing, creating like a feedback loop where only certain types of studies are conducted. And this selective funding skews the scientific literature, making it appear as though there's this overwhelming support for the dominant paradigms, when in reality, it's just the result of selective funding rather than a true consensus. So for instance, projects exploring extensions of general relativity, dark matter, or dark energy are prioritized, while those questioning the very existence of those constructs struggle for support. Similarly, in psychology, studies favoring pharmacological interventions, they receive abundant funding, while research into consciousness itself or non-materials approaches is often sidelined. The peer review process is intended as a filter, but it often filters out innovation, rather than error, and the inherent conservatism of the system favors papers that fit neatly within the existing frameworks. The reviewers of these journals, chosen for their expertise, are often experts in the dominant paradigm, leading to a phenomenon known as paradigm inertia, where new theories are judged not by their merits, but by their conformity to the prevailing worldview. In fields like physics, this can result in an overemphasis on mathematical elegance and consistency with established equations, even when empirical anomalies like galactic rotation curves or the Pioneer anomaly indicate the need for new models. In psychology, adherence to behaviorist or cognitive models may overlook the importance of introspection or subjective experience, effectively ignoring aspects of consciousness that don't fit easily into what they think could be quantified. The current academic system, it elevates certain individuals to positions of authority, which in my opinion creates a cult of prestige where the opinions of a few prominent figures carry disproportionate weight, and it creates a bottleneck for the new ideas, which are often dismissed not because they lack merit, but because they lack the endorsement of influential academics. And this is evident in the rejection of alternative cosmological models like my own, or critiques of general relativity. Despite growing evidence suggesting the need for revision, dissenting voices are often silenced by the authority of established figures in psychology, like innovative thinkers like Julian Jaynes, one of my personal heroes, who proposed radical ideas about the nature of consciousness. he was marginalized despite presenting an incredibly compelling case. Thomas Kuhn's concept of the paradigm shift suggests that science progresses through revolutionary changes rather than gradual evolution. Yet the current academic structure is designed to resist such shifts. Paradigm lock-in occurs when the existing framework becomes so entrenched that it actively resists the interpretations, even when the mounting evidence is to the contrary. In physics, this manifests in the continued search for dark matter and dark energy despite a complete lack of direct evidence, while alternative explanations like modified gravity theories are dismissed. In psychology, the dominant materialist paradigm suggests it struggles to integrate new insights from neuroscience, like psychedelic research, the studies of altered states of consciousness that hint at a far more complex understanding of the mind. There's this pressing need for an alternative model of scientific inquiry, one that values interdisciplinary approaches, welcomes unconventional ideas, and prioritizes empirical validation over theoretical orthodoxy. Appeal to authority is a logical fallacy, full stop. Like if you've gone to high school and you took debate, you're familiar with logical fallacies. Like, this is grade school shit. And yet the scientific community completely ignores this. Platforms outside traditional academic systems such as independent publications, online forums, and new media offer an opportunity to bypass these gatekeepers and present innovative ideas directly to a wider audience, and that's what I've been doing. The rise of digital technologies and decentralized communication networks has created fertile ground for the new form of peer review, which I guess I'd call it peer-to-peer review, where ideas can be scrutinized and debated by a diverse community rather than a narrow group of experts invested in maintaining the current paradigm. And this democratization of knowledge allows for a broader range of perspectives and may foster the kind of revolutionary shifts that academia currently suppresses. The problem lies not with peer review itself, but with how it's currently implemented, as a tool for maintaining consensus rather than as a means for exploring the boundaries of human understanding. My personal work, spanning consciousness studies, cosmology, and more recently a wave-based theory of gravity, challenges these conventions and represents the kind of interdisciplinary, paradigm-challenging approach that is desperately needed in science right now. So by leveraging new platforms and engaging with a wider audience, we can help bypass these traditional barriers, fostering a dialogue that may lead to the very breakthroughs academia claims to seek but often resists in practice. The future of science may not lie in the hallowed halls of the elite institutions, but in the open forums where ideas can be freely exchanged and rigorously tested by diverse, intellectually curious communities. And that's my 2 cents on it. I think it's time for a radical change in the way that we do science. And anyways, that's my perspective on it. That's what I've been dealing with. I hope it's been insightful or interesting. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.